What's up, guys? It's N31LE here, and today we've got something special. We're taking off the fairings on our 2023 BMW S1000RR.
Get out the way, who got a watch, who got the time, I'm racing the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, I got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really go cost. I'm trying to get these ends.
So let's jump right into it. For the right side of the bike, we've got the lower fairing and the upper fairing. The lower fairing has got to come off before the upper fairing does, in case anybody didn't know. So you got 7 bolts, one right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 before you can take off the lower fairing. And if you want to count the 8th one down here, that's number 8. So we'll take that one off as well. And then on the left side, it's the same thing. It's 7 bolts, but 7 here to take this one off, 8 at the bottom, and then 7 on the other side, and that takes the whole lower fairing off. At the top, we've also got a bolt beneath this fairing right here. So once we take the lower fairing off, it'll expose a bolt. We've got to take off a bolt behind the BMW logo, and I'll show you how to take that one off as well. And then of course we've got to take off the, I want to call it like the radiator guard or whatnot. So there are some associated bolts in there as well. But this is not a hard process. This is super easy. All it is just removing the bolts, finding out where they are, and then taking the fairings off. So let's jump right into it. Another thing to note as well, all of these bolts are a Torx T25, except for 2 bolts, and I'll show you which one those are a Torx T20. So a Torx T25 and a Torx T20 is what you're gonna need to take the fairings off of this bike. So if you don't have these, I've said it multiple times in all of my videos, this bike takes Torx, bolts, everything. So make sure you go out to the store, get you a set of Torx wrenches. That way you can take the fairings off of your bike. So you can start by having a bag. Super simple, but super effective. Having a bag that says for the right side, the middle, and the low side, or the left side. So this is so you don't confuse any of your bolts. You don't mix them up and things like that. So I like to get some baggies and put the bolts in there for the respective side. So let's start. Starting with a Torx T25. You can start wherever you feel like it. And if you take notice, a lot of these bolts come in different sizes. So there's one that looks like this. I'll call this the long bolt. There's one that looks like this. I'll call this a short bolt. There's also, if I can find it when I pull it out, there's also one that's kind of like medium to this. I'll show it to you when I pull it out. I'll call that one like the medium bolt, just to keep things simple. So there's the long, short, and the medium bolt. The long bolt, one of my baggies just floated away. The long bolt usually goes in holes that have these kind of grommet looking things. Kind of zoom that in there. They have this little grommet looking thing. So those ones usually take the long bolt. And then the short bolt kind of has one that it doesn't go in like all the way. I'll show you those, but yeah. So these are the 2 on the inside. There's one right here and there's one right here. You want to take those out as well. Not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to do with the camera in the way. So this is the bolt I was talking about. That's the medium bolt. So I'll put them all side by side. So as you can see there's the long, medium, and then the short bolt. So those are the 3 different types of bolts that you'll pull out. So now, of course, you've got your fairing kind of looking like this. Don't forget the bolt here at the bottom. All right, so once you've got these 8 bolts out, all you can do is just separate it up here, and it's a clip right here. So all you've got to do is just pull that out gently. Try not to like break anything. Wiggle it if you have to. There we go. Just pull it apart. Now for the top, like I said, it's I think it's another 7 bolts to take out, and I'll show you these 7 bolts as I'm going. There's one right here. To get to the bolt behind the BMW logo, all you've got to do is reach in here, and you should feel like something that feels like should be stuff like poking your hand, and that's the fingers or whatever from this logo. So push that out. If you've got a 20 or a 22, you should know how to take these out, but they're literally just center caps. But see my fingers there? It's like a little hole. You just push it out, and that comes out easily. And there's the bolt right there that you need to take out. This one's a little bit different, so you know that this one goes in here only. This is the only bolt that looks like this, so both sides have this. So I was right, it is 7 bolts. So the one right here, there's 2, the second one, 3, you can see my finger, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You need to take those out as well. And I forgot to mention, this bolt is a T20 that I was telling you about. And this bolt is the one that takes this front chin piece off on both sides, right here. So just to make it easier on myself, I'm gonna take the chin piece off. So the Torx T20, I'm gonna take these 2 bolts out and put them in our middle bag, just for the ease of being able to pull the fenders off, or the fairings off. Let's take those out. Grab your chin, push it backwards, and should come out. Should, keyword. There we go. Backwards and kind of like down, and it should come out. Now we can get to the rest of these bolts. Now that you've got all the bolts out, all you got to do is come here, grab your wing. There's a clip behind here that you need to separate, so you can pop that off. And there's also 2 like prongs that go into rubber bushings up here, so you got to separate those as well. So separate your fairings. Oh, I forgot to say, there's also there's a prong that goes into a rubber bushing here, and 2 here, as well as a clip that clips the fairings in. So unclip the clip, then pull the fairing out from right here, and it should separate everything. Next, that's when you want to pull backwards. So move your fairing right here and just pull back. That's that. I'm gonna put one of these bolts back in here so that the fairing doesn't fall off when I take the last bolt out. So just for safety. There we go. And of course, put these into your L bag so you don't lose them. And of course, don't forget the 2 bolts here. And don't forget our last bolt that we put in there for safety. Go ahead and take that out. And just take the lower fairing off. For the upper, remember we've got 7 bolts up here to take off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I think the 6th one is up here, and then the 7th one we already took out. So you can start with those. So remember, stick your hand up here and pop this cap out. I think this is like a BMW center cap or something like that. This looks like oddly like BMW wheel center cap. And then of course 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I put this one in here so this entire thing doesn't fall out. So we'll take those off as well. So now if you remember, grab the clip right here, separate that from the upper fairing, remember there's two there's two like prongs in there that go into rubber grommets, so don't forget to separate those. And then there's one right here as well. So grab right here, pull out until it separates, and then pull backwards, kind of wiggling it and separating it right here. And it should come out. So the reason why I left this bolt here is because these things like to fall out, and I don't like my brand new bike having damage, so I'd rather not fall out. So there's that. And you can pull these out of the holes and take this off. And that's that. And that is the fairing removal for a BMW S1000RR. So once we've got everything done that we needed to do, we can start putting the fairings back on. So to put all the fairings back on, you're going to start in reverse order that you took everything off in. So you're going to start with the fairing piece that was here in the middle. So it's the fairing piece that looks like this. So you're going to want to start by looping this around the wheel and grabbing the 4 short screws that you took out at the top. Hopefully you did like I said, and you had three separate bags. Again, bags going on here. There we go. Hopefully you did like I said and had 3 separate bags. So you want to go in your middle bag and pull these ones out. Make sure you plug them in up here and then push the thing through the hole right here as well on both sides. Then you grab your 4 short screws and you start screwing them in up here. You want to make sure that they're not tight right away, because they still have to flex for when you're putting the rest of the other fairings on. So screw them in somewhat, but not all the way. We're going to go around at the end and tighten everything up. So now that that's in, you can come around the right side of the bike and grab the top fairing piece. So this one. Best way to do this. So loop it around, and remember there's a clip here at the top, so you're going to want to make sure that clip lines up. And there's also the prongs that go into the bushings here at the top as well. Click that in right here, and of course push this in there right there. And that's how you install the top. So of course put your screws in, and the top fairing should be ready to go. And of course grab the long screw for up here. You can tighten that up and pop in your BMW logo. So if you notice, there's a short one right here that's smaller than all the rest of them, and that short one is going to go into this hole. So pop that in, and that's done. So now you can do these one of 2 ways. You can put the rest of the bolts into the top of the fairings up here, or you can put on the side. I'm going to put on the side. So I'm going to grab that, and this is going to take a long bolt, because it's another long rubber bushing right here, or grommet, or whatever you want to call it. So grab you one of these, and line your fairing up. Grab you another long one, and that goes right here. Tighten that up. This one's a short one, so that goes up here. This one's another short one. So at this point, you should have 4 bolts left, 2 medium ones and 2 short ones. The mediums, they go one right here and the other one goes right here. Okay, so medium. The shorts go right here and right here. And of course, up here, you can start tightening up your bolts as well. And that should be the right side of your bike done. For the left side, it should just be rinse and repeat. So grab your fairing, line it up, push the prongs in the holes, and then push it in right here. So grab your left side bag. You can start with this one, the long one, and just pop that in there. For the bottom, once you get your fairing, you can route it and then clip it here at the bottom. So unless you want your bike looking like a 2019, 2020, or 21, 22 version, go ahead and grab your nose cone or your nose piece. And you can see it has 2 notches right there. What you're gonna wanna do is line them up right there. So put it in, pause, that's what she said, and make sure it lines up and just pull forward on it. Kind of hard to do with the camera in the way, so there we go. Then throw your 2 remaining Torx T20 screws in the holes. Now you should have 1 bolt left. Should look like this, and it should go there. So screw that in. The Torx T25. and your bike should be back fully assembled. Now go through all the screws, make sure everything is nice and tight so nothing falls off, and you should be done with the install process. If you like today's video, hit the like button. Also subscribe and ring the notifications bell. That way every time I drop a new video, you'll be the first to know. We've got a lot more stuff to put onto this beautiful bike. Stay tuned.